7,000 National Guardsmen. Well, okay, I'm gonna pause here and say, okay, with all of this gender neutral language, guardsmen, hey, shouldn't it be guards
Come on.
people? Come on,
Yep.
ABC News.
Oh man.
7,000 National Guardsmen should be guards people to remain in
Hey,
Washington through mid March.
go get Jordan Peterson all over that.
All right, you can go ahead and vent about this if you'd like.
Oh no. You got to start this off and tell me why you chose this article.
Well, firstly, the government has decided to keep 7,000 National Guardsmen in Washington until I think March to keep everybody safe. Safe from what? I don't know. But just keep the people in the Capitol safe. Um, I chose it because just the whole response with the National Guard has been kind of weird. Because I remember in the summer when basically cities were being burned down, and then Trump said, and let me say, I'm not a fan of Trump. I'm not a fan of Biden. I'm just saying, when somebody says, let's put the National Guard to help a situation, and the other side cries foul, and then later on, that side then uses the National Guard to their advantage or to their purpose. It's just, it
Mm-hmm.
cries hypocrisy in just the worst way.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the National Guard should be there at all. The whatever security forces they have. I mean, there is the police force that they already have. Um, I don't know of any other insurrections that are happening. I mean, the excuse they use is they're hearing chatter of extremist behavior, which we've heard this sentence, chatter of extremist behavior, since the George W. Bush days. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like that rhetoric is getting stale. Like we know that maybe there are groups, very small groups, that are saying really nasty things on the internet, but to sort of just blanket statement the chatter among extremist groups as if there's like a million people ready to march on Washington is just so absurd that
Yeah.
I don't get it. Go for it.
Okay. Well, I'll respond to what you said. Um, I can totally understand when you say that there's hypocrisy in that. Um, Looking back at previous situations over the last year, I don't think I and I guess I should clear this up. I do not support the riots at the Capitol at all, 100%. That's just me. I don't think that there was any need or justification for that. That's just me. Um, but as far as the National Guard goes, I do agree with you that I don't think that they necessarily need to be there. In my opinion, there needs to be a dedicated security force at the Capitol. I don't see that was. I don't see how that riot and all the damage was actually able to happen at the Capitol. In my mind, I kind of thought, well, where were the where were the guards? I I was surprised because I thought that it was more heavily guarded.
Well, then there's
Um,
videos too of them letting him in. So there's a weird thing happening where it's like one side is saying that these people basically overpowered the security guards, but then you have like videos of the security basically opening the barriers and letting him in and like opening doors. And so
yeah,
it's just like there's two different narratives happening that you
yeah,
can't really believe either of them. Or if you try to choose one, it's negating the other, but there's evidence for the other, and so it's hard to sort of grasp that.
yeah. Well, I think that there's and this is what I have researched. I think that there's evidence that support both of those statements. Number one, um, there's video of people beating police officers. Um, that's undeniable. There are also there's also evidence of guards and police officers that that informed rioters and helped them as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, which I think I completely disagree with that. I think that if you're a police officer, it's your job to do one thing, and you shouldn't be. I mean, if you take that oath, maybe that's a different video. So I totally agree that there's evidence for both, but my biggest thing with the National Guard is not necessarily whether they should be there, and I said I don't think that they should, but if they're going to be there, treat them like human beings. And I've read these other articles where they were forced to leave the Capitol, go into these warehouses, basically packed like sardines with one bathroom,
Mm.
um, into these super packed areas while there's a pandemic. Um, what the like seriously?
Yeah,
Like these are
the
people
pictures
who,
the pictures of them like huddled in the parking garages, like trying to sleep,
yeah,
is disturbing.
it's extremely disturbing. That uh I, I just have no words. I I super support um soldiers and people that protect our country and the people that put their lives on the line. I know that there are a lot of different opinions about the military, but in some situations, that's what has to happen.
Mm.
And the people that step up and do it, like
Well,
they're
that's
not
the
doing it.
just
So
the hypocrisy continues, because then it says fewer than 200 of the 25,000 guardsmen who provided security on inauguration day contracted COVID. And it's like, well, were all of them tested, or just the some that had symptoms, and it happened to be 200? Like, there's no, it's when the government is saying like social distance and don't be near each other, and then they do shit like this. It's like, well, how can we trust anybody if you're not doing what you're telling other people to do? It just drives me crazy.
sure, sure. I guess my frustration wasn't with the COVID. It was basically with the way that they treated them. Like they were there, they're put there for your personal safety, and then what what you stick a bunch in this warehouse where they have to wait to go to the bathroom because there's only one freaking bathroom.
Mm,
Like it's not necessarily about the COVID, it's just about like how you don't even treat normal human beings like that.
yeah.
Like regular human beings.
You know what's the most ironic thing is, this might be a controversial statement, was all the calls of Trump being like a dictator. This like these actions and this behavior is more in line with a dictator than probably anything Trump had ever done. And I'm not a Trump fan either, saying that. So, I mean,
I would disagree,
you
but I understand why you would say that. And here's another thing that super pissed me off. Um, and it wasn't. I don't know. So, did you watch the inauguration?
no, I did not.
Okay. So, Garth Brooks, big, huge country mega superstar, sings, walks up to Biden and shakes his hand. Shakes his hand when, I mean, he walked in with a mask on, takes his mask off, sings, walks up to Biden, shakes his hand, and then Biden like lets him shake his hand. I know that it's like, oh, what are you not going to let him? But yeah, like you're touting all of this social distance, and with everyone else, you're doing fist bumps and stuff, which I totally applaud, whatever. But then like Garth Brooks is such an idiot, which I
Or
hate to say
or
because
or do you think he did that on purpose?
he might have done it on purpose, because then after he walked up to the Obamas and he hugged Obama and Barack Obama and Michelle Obama, literally hugged them, and they hugged it back without a mask on.
You know what? I'm just saying he probably just played the elite for the fools that they are. I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, it could go.
Um,
It could go both ways. It could be that he just wasn't aware of what he was doing, or he's on a whole nother level of being like, "Oh, I gotcha."
yeah, I don't know. That was crazy. So